Welcome back to episode 11 of Wyandot Lake, our Planet Coaster to water park. Today we are going to be starting on our second themed area within the park, and that is going to be our boardwalk area. For right now, at least, we are going to simply name it the Boardwalk. But if you have any better ideas for a name, make sure to drop them down below. For right now, though, we are going to work on laying out the pathing and buildings for the area, so let's get to it. As you will see here when we get back over there, I've kind of divided this into two areas. We've got this kind of area with all the shops, and then you're going to see, I think you saw it a second ago, but you're going to see we've got kind of this street. And so I kind of wanted it to have this kind of street sidewalk feel. With kind of, we'll put some planters in the gaps there eventually, and really kind of try to give it that authentic kind of boardwalk feel. That's why we kind of go with the wood pathing, which I know you can't see now because we're making some adjustments. But yeah, we'll keep that wooden pathing there along with it. It looks really good, especially with the buildings we're eventually going to put in. I also really like the brick transition we put in. I just think that's a really nice touch that we have here within the area. I will say, love the ability to change colors of pathing. We did that with the concrete. It's a game changer. Let's talk a little bit about this water slide. This is the first water slide in the area. We're going to have two slide complexes, and you can ignore the queue line we've got here. We end up coming in and changing it. At the time that I made this video, I was unsure if people would stand on the staircases when waiting in line, and they do. And so we end up coming in and getting rid of that eventually. I'm not sure that it's really necessary, but for right now, it's going to stay put. But we end up by calling it something like Surf's Up, is what I think we end up calling it. Kind of a generic name, but kind of it's got that wavy look to it, which is what I wanted, so that's what we went with. It'll end up working really well. I know it's a generic one from the game, but I really wanted something that was going to kind of just be generic, kind of a mat racer vibe, kind of when you go to the local fair or whatever. And so that's what we came up with, and it does end up looking, I think, just really cool. So this pool we're working on now. So there's a couple different pools in this area, and we'll get into that in a little bit about what all this area is going to include. But this is going to be, in an ideal world, kind of more of like an adult-only pool. We're going to put a actual boardwalk kind of through the middle of two pools. And in an ideal world, and it'd be super awesome if they could figure out a way to put this into the game. I'm not sure if they could with just ratings and everything in terms of the game. In terms of like the E for everybody for mature kind of ratings, not in terms of the this game's 5-star, 4-star, whatever. But in a perfect world, we're building this kind of boardwalk that kind of cuts through what's going to end up being two pools. But if we could put like a little swim up bar, I just think that'd be so cool. But that's what this area is kind of supposed to be, kind of an adult only pool and whatnot. So let's go through and let's talk a little bit about the area. And so I kind of try to go with a California boardwalk kind of vibe. It's going to have a bunch of different buildings kind of along that kind of street/boulevard area of varying heights, just to kind of give it some authenticity look. And I think we actually even vary the starting locations of them. But it is located within the park on the back side of the kind of back of house area as lakeside. Which, if you have not seen any of the lakeside stuff, we wrapped that up in the last episode, and it came out super great. But this means that the buildings are also going to serve not only the front here, but they're a little bit taller, which works because they're also going to serve as kind of some administrative maintenance shops as well. The area itself will consist of 2 slide complexes, 7 slides total. You just saw the one go in. We're also going to build a kind of a custom one, kind of right to your right there. There's going to be a slide kind of in the back of the area here. It's going to have 2 pools. One of them is going to be a wave pool, which comes out super well, and then the other is going to be a kind of calmer adult style pool. And that's the one that you see right there on kind of the left side of your screen. And of course we'll have pools for the slide exits. Both slide complexes have them. I have not yet explored with having kind of the flume exit for pools. That's something that I do want to kind of look at doing. I don't want to have every single one go into the pool. So we'll look at that kind of as we get into maybe kind of our 3rd themed area. Certainly our final themed area, the one that's going to kind of have the kind of island theme. We'll have 4 or 5 slide complexes, and that'll of course be some of them. In terms of some of the amenities, it's got the boardwalk, which you just saw us kind of building there a minute ago. That is designed to kind of split through the 2 pools. The idea is, it actually sticks out, and if I had more space, I actually would have connected the pools past the boardwalk, but just obviously running out of space on the map here, so wasn't able to make that work. We are going to have, I believe it's 2 set of changing rooms, 2 dryers, 2 retail locations, a guest services building, 3 bathrooms, 2 QSR locations, a picnic area, a break room. We're also going to have some more private cabanas. Planet Coast or Frontier, please give us the ability to have cabanas that can be rented out. It would be super cool. So we're going to have some more of that. And then eventually when we put in the slide, we'll have a really cool kind of off to the side area that kind of comes out really well, that we end up connecting to the main area. And I think just looks super great. So this first building that we are working on right now is going to be the bathhouse. With all the decorations, it just, I think, really fits in and encapsulates the area. It's got kind of a little bit of like a police station feel. It's not Hasbro. Hasbro is, I think, the little gummy bears. But the little like toy company that makes like the little plastic toys, that's kind of what this reminds me of. Kind of one of their maybe kind of little plastic toys. I just think it looks super great, especially once we get the decorations on here. Yeah, but super happy with how this turned out. Quite frankly, the first 3 buildings within this area, which you're going to see me build all in this episode, I think came out just super well. So we'll see all 3 of those. It's going to be this bathhouse, it's going to be a store, and then it's going to be, I'll keep it a surprise for the end, but it's going to be kind of a non-functional building, but really happy with how it turned out. I will say, I do wish there were some more opportunities for some things. We're going to add some flags here in a couple minutes to this area, and I just wish it had like storm flags. And actually I was thinking about this a couple days ago. I wish there were more flag options in the game anyways. I think it would be really cool if you could put some more country flags in, and just stuff like that, which would be super fun. Who knows, maybe someday we get that, but we'll have to wait down the road. But yeah, so this building just comes out super well. But let's talk a little bit about kind of how I come up with my themes for the area, because obviously this is the second themed area. We've actually already planned out the entire park's opening theme. Not only that, but I also have kind of a list of kind of maybe some themed areas to look at. The only one I am unsure of is kind of our center island theme. I have a theme picked out with the pirates theme. I might make a change. I'm kind of waiting on that to come out. It's the 24th of June right now when I'm recording this, and I'm sure the update's going to come out here any day now. And when it does, we'll get in, we'll check out some of the pirate stuff, and that may change some plans. But what I do is I kind of think through a variety of things when it comes to kind of the theming and whatnot. But with the lake, that just kind of felt natural. With this, it just felt natural. But it's a little bit kind of what I want. Some of these things, especially within the dry park, are themes that every park that I've ever built, going back to Roller Coaster Tycoon, I've included. Some of them are really basic, right? Every park needs to have them. Some of them are based on a vacation experience, or based on maybe something else another creator's doing, or maybe what's popular in the real world right now. That's kind of what a lot of the themed areas come from. But I do sit down, and the first thing I will do is I will, there we go, fixing the mic there a little bit. I will sketch out the area. So I have a big notebook that I've actually got the entire park sketched out in. And it's kind of, each page is sketched as a different themed area. You can kind of get the feel, get the vibe for what the park's going to look like, and all that and whatnot. So that is my philosophy for building, and you can see the flagpole there on the right side. I really wish that we had the ability to put in like storm flags. They've got this kind of resort theme, and I don't know why, but the resort theme really kind of reminds me of a cruise ship. But it'd be really, really cool if we could have kind of the different kind of warning flags and whatnot in the game. Correct me if I'm wrong below, but I feel like some of the original Planet Coaster games maybe did. Although now that I say that, I'm not sure. I was thinking maybe the Roller Coaster Tycoon games, but I said that, and now I'm second guessing myself. But yeah, this building just comes out wonderfully. I actually think it might be my favorite building that I've ever built in the game. I just feel like it's the right amount of detail. I do think it's really easy to be really bland with buildings in this game, but also I think it's really easy to go overboard, and it came out really well. And speaking of overboard, sorry, pausing now because I'm having a little bit of a thought. I don't know that we ever named this shop that we're working on now. And if not, I think Overboard something might be a name. I don't know. We're going to see. I know we don't name it originally in this episode, but part of me is maybe thinking I come back towards the end of this area and put it in. But this is going to be a store, a retail store here. Something with it. So obviously the next update that's coming out, which again honestly might come out the day this video is released. This video is getting released on the 26th. It's currently the 24th. I would expect the update this week, just kind of based on when the other updates have come out. But we're getting stores in the game, actual gift shops that you can walk into, which is super exciting. We're certainly going to take advantage of that as we build it. But this is one of those areas that I've thought a lot about it. And I don't know if this store is designed for that. I think there's going to be a lot of stores that we're going to go back once we open the park. We do our yearly enhancements and we'll turn into gift shops. But this is one that I'm leaning towards keeping as is. For some reason, when I think about a beach store, I was just in Chicago not too long ago, a couple months ago on Navy Pier. I was in San Francisco a year ago. Actually, I think it was exactly a year ago today from when I'm recording this that I was walking through the pier, the famous pier there. I'm not going to say the name of it because I cannot remember it and I don't want to botch it and offend any of our California friends. But I kind of have this envision of like a beach store kind of being these like little kiosks uh, that it's got everything kind of hanging in the window or hanging on the walls, and you kind of walk up and you're like, hey, can I get number 17? Almost like a concert where they've got all the stuff numbered, and you kind of walk up and you're like, I want hat 4 or whatever, and that's kind of the vibe I feel when I think of kind of a beach. And that's kind of what I went for here. And I kind of feel like I hit it kind of on the nose, right? It's a really narrow, kind of skinny building in terms of the depth on it. So, there's not really a ton of space, especially with all the backspace. And then we've got the little display window. And so, I think maybe the only way to come up and get stuff from here is you have to go to the kiosk, which I think is fine. I think it really fits in with the vibe, and we'll come in and we'll put a bunch of kind of clutter all over it, kind of as if it's that roadside attraction almost, and it fits. And so I just don't think having kind of that walk-in store here really fits with the vibe. It's got the upstairs, maybe that's where the guy lives, or those are apartments or an Airbnb or something, but just super happy with how this turns out. But yeah, so let me know your thoughts below. I feel like there's going to be a lot of interiors being built, which I think is really good. I think that's important. You really need that. But I'm not sure every area needs that interior. This is another area I'm going to go back to. I talked about scaling. We end up building a custom sign here, and we don't name the store right now. We kind of come back later and we'll do that one of the last episodes for this area. But this is one of those areas that I just think you could scale, because that one piece was just absolutely perfect. It's exactly what I was looking for here. It was just too big. And so we kind of go with this instead, which honestly looks really good, looks fine, maybe not the best, but it fits. So yeah, but going back to the gift shops, I think we're going to see just an influx of that, but I don't think that's always necessary. I think sometimes having something like this looks really good, and same thing with the QSR. I think a lot of people are building restaurants now, but restaurants aren't always necessary. So yeah, so let me know what your thoughts on that are as well. Kind of curious to see what you guys think of that. This is episode 11. We've talked before, we're going to have 15 episodes daily, and then after that we are going to be going to Wednesday releases, which is going to kind of be the consistent thing. Episodes 10, 11 are being recorded this morning before work. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have time to record any more before work, but the rest of them will get out this week. Do not worry on that. I think we're going to record probably 12, 13, 14, maybe 15 even, right after work into this evening. And then episode 16 will start our weekly. I went through last night and edited all the videos. We have 20 videos done. We are in the middle of recording episode 21, which is kind of hard to believe, thinking we're at episode 11, and I've got the perspective of I see this, I know where we are in terms of the releases, but also where we are in terms of the actual park progress. And what we're at is we're probably 4 or 5 episodes, if that, probably even less, probably closer to 3 or 4 episodes away from finishing the third area. And here we are with this episode, which is just kind of very beginning stages of our second area. So we're getting really close in real life, and we're starting to catch up, which is super cool. We'll kind of get into kind of more of my thought there. And there's our crab. We talked about kind of having that kind of crab be the logo of the park, kind of the mascot. We're going to kind of combine it with some of the other balloons. We've got a balloon shop on the right, and I believe it's a hat shop on the left, is I believe what we went with. But yeah, we've got the big balloons kind of showcasing this. I kind of imagined this as you've got kind of the street car dealership kind of things, I can never remember what those are called. I used to know what those were called, and I cannot remember to save my life anymore what those are called. But that's kind of the vibe I went with those. But again, if you know a name for the crab, let me know. It'd be kind of cool to put kind of the crabs kind of all over. As kind of like a little hidden kind of mascot. They're kind of creeping around and whatnot. I was just in Greenville, South Carolina, a few weeks ago now, and they've got rats that are kind of hidden throughout their Main Street area, which is something that's super cool. And so that's kind of the vibe I'm going for with the crabs. So if you have any ideas, let me know. So this last thing we're building. So I talked a little bit last episode about the importance of having kind of non-functional kind of decorative pieces. That's what this is right here. So this is going to be a guard shack, right? It's kind of your guard shack where the guards hang out kind of place. And I just love the way this looks. I kind of tried to go with kind of a Baywatch, LA County vibe. Baywatch, if you don't know what Baywatch is, that's just, you go watch Baywatch. I think a lot of TVs now, they've got kind of the built-in channels on them. Baywatch is generally one of them. Go watch Baywatch. And I'm not talking about the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson movie. I'm talking about the original TV show from way back in the day. Predates me, so I'm not even going to try to say when it was on. But that's kind of the vibe we were looking with here. I really want to kind of add the idea that not everything in the arc, or in the park, not everything in the park is going to be functional, but it should still serve a purpose. And that's what this is, right? There's no functional purpose here. It doesn't work. Guards don't hang out here. There's not a guard stationed up here. But it's got a purpose, right? It's got that look. If you saw this from a guest perspective, it's believable. You go, oh, that's what that is. And so I still think it's a really important part of the park from that perspective. Now, moving on to the it's not functional. We got a really cool update in Update 5 where we now have invisible paths. This is an area that I look at, especially with the pathing tools in this game, and I say, hey, we can make this functional now. And so I might actually go back and do this before we open the park and put in some invisible paths, put a little guard spot up here, which would be super cool. The only thing, I don't know this, I think the answer is yes. I hope the answer is yes. Can you have lifeguard stands on a staff-only path? And the reason I hope it's yes is because when we get to the Lazy River here in, I don't know, maybe 15 episodes or so, my thought is I'm going to have kind of a service road kind of going on one side that'll have little points, but those are going to be kind of staff-only paths. So, yeah, but going back to this building, the entire thing just looks super, super well done. With the wood, I love kind of this wooden trim. It's kind of a weathered look. It fits perfectly. It really does. And we'll move it eventually. We'll put a little path next to it that goes into the back area. But super happy with it. It comes out super well. Let me know if you would like me to see if I can kind of get some pathing up there to kind of add some functionality to it. Because that's certainly something I'm open to doing. And honestly, I've talked a lot about things. We're not going to change things for right now. We'll leave it for later. That is one that I would totally do before the park opens, which is super cool. I also will say this wood planking that we put on the back really also just comes out fantastic. Trying to go back to, keeping back areas secure. And that's what we did here, and it just really does look super great, super fantastic. You can't see through there. We put some foliage in front of it eventually, of course, but even then, that's still elevated a little bit so that they can kind of see out from there. But just looks super great. And we do some adjustments with kind of where stuff is located. When we start our themed areas, we kind of lay out what our basic thought is, and that can change, and you see that right here. We kind of try to kind of bring everything a little bit closer together, which we did here, which just ends up allowing us to put an extra building in, which we'll do kind of tomorrow. We'll end up putting that in. But just turned out really well. Love the color schemes. All three of these buildings, I think, just look absolutely fantastic. So let me know below what you think of the color palettes and everything with that. And the last thing here we're doing is we're putting this little kind of protection over the staircase in. I used to go to the fire museum all the time as a kid, and this was something that they had. They had kind of these fake ladders you could climb, and they put kind of little glass pieces over that, and so that's kind of what this is, just to make sure people don't climb up it. But that's the last thing we're going to do today. Tomorrow we are going to be wrapping up with this kind of street section of the boardwalk, which should be a lot of fun. If you have any name recommendations for kind of this street, this kind of boulevard, let me know below. I am completely stumped. I didn't even think about that originally, but now that I'm looking at it, I kind of feel like that's something we need. I'm not sure the buildings turned out as great as the ones in this episode, especially one or two of them in particular, but I'm curious to see what you guys think. But overall, it should be another fun episode. For now, though, have a great rest of your day, and we will see you tomorrow.